Episode 1. The Ordinary Man will come to Echo Tales, the home of stories that stay with you long after the final word. Today, we begin a thrilling journey with Legacy in Shadows, a story of love, sacrifice, and secrets buried beneath an ordinary life. Let's dive into Episode 1. The Ordinary Man. Ethan Parker arrived home to the modest apartment he shared with his wife, Lily, feeling the usual weariness after a long day at work. He was dressed simply, shoulders slightly hunched, his mind swirling with thoughts of bills and rent. To anyone else, Ethan was just an ordinary man trying to make ends meet, living a quiet, almost invisible life in the city. But Ethan knew better than anyone that this life was a carefully chosen disguise. The warm smell of Lily's cooking filled the apartment as Ethan stepped inside. She looked up from the kitchen, her face lighting up as she saw him. "Hey there, you're home," she said with a warm smile that seemed to make his troubles fade. Ethan took a breath, savoring the peace of their modest life. "How was your day?" he asked, hoping she didn't see the tension in his shoulders. "Good, mostly," Lily replied, casting him a look he knew all too well. Dad called. Ethan felt the familiar discomfort at the mention of her father. Martin Evans was a man with high expectations, especially when it came to his daughter's husband. He'd never approved of Ethan, a man he saw as far too ordinary for Lily. "Oh," Ethan said, keeping his voice neutral. "How is he?" "He's fine," she replied, though he could sense a hint of sadness. "But well, he just wishes things were different." Ethan knew exactly what Martin meant. Martin couldn't understand why Lily had married a man who worked an average job, lived an average life, and, in his eyes, had no grand ambition. But Martin didn't know that Ethan had left a life of wealth and family expectations behind, all to be with Lily and live life on his own terms. Trying to keep his voice light, Ethan replied, "I understand. He just wants what he thinks is best for you." Inside, he felt the weight of the sacrifice he'd made. A choice no one, not even Lily, could truly understand. They sat down to eat, and Lily reached for his hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. "Ethan, I don't care about what Dad says. I know what we have, and I know why I'm here. That's all that matters to me." He looked at her, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She was the one person who believed in him, even without knowing his entire past. But as they shared dinner in silence, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that his carefully constructed life might one day crumble, and the secrets he'd buried would come to light. After dinner, as the night settled around them, Ethan sat alone in their small living room. Memories surfaced, unbidden images of sprawling estates, private jets, and family gatherings filled with faces he hadn't seen in years. He had walked away from it all, but the echoes of that life still haunted him. In the quiet, he made a silent promise to himself. This simple life with Lily was worth any sacrifice. But just as he began to relax, his phone buzzed on the table. He frowned at the unknown number flashing on the screen. Who could be calling at this hour? The last time he'd received a call from an unknown number, it had been a reminder from the world he'd left behind. Hesitating, he answered. "Hello." A smooth, unfamiliar voice spoke on the other end. "Mr. Parker, we've been trying to reach you. It's urgent." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He glanced at Lily, who was flipping through a magazine on the couch, unaware of the call that was about to stir up his hidden past. "Who is this?" he asked, his voice calm, but inside, worry began to build. He had thought he'd severed all ties with his old life. The voice continued, unfazed by Ethan's growing tension. "It doesn't matter who I am. All that matters is that your family needs you. It's time to come home, Mr. Parker." Ethan clenched his fist, feeling the fragile piece of his life slip away. The life he had so carefully crafted was no longer safe. Secrets once buried were beginning to surface, and with them, a shadow that could destroy everything he held dear. As he ended the call, he sat back, the weight of his decision pressing down on him. For the first time, Ethan realized that no matter how far he ran, he could never truly escape the legacy he had abandoned. And with that, he knew this was only the beginning. You've been listening to Legacy in Shadows on Echo Tales. Thank you for joining us as we unveil Ethan's world of secrets and sacrifice. The next episode brings new twists, deeper mysteries, and the past Ethan thought he'd left behind. Don't miss it, stay tuned, and let the echoes of our tale draw you back for more. Until next time, keep listening and keep imagining.